Hello students, today we will learn about Java. So why to learn Java? Why Java is so popular? What are the main features of Java? All these things we will try to understand in this class. So here why Java is so much popular? Actually these are the features that has made Java so much popular. Java works on OOPS based features. It is dynamic, multi-threaded, interpreted and compiled, machine independent, means platform independent, portable, robust, secure and crash free. So Java has got so many features that are responsible to make Java so much useful for students, for industry application developments, for testers, for almost for everyone. So let us understand what is Java. So what is Java? Java is an object-oriented programming language. It resembles with C and C++ at the beginning phase of programming, like primitive data type declaration, conditional constructs like if else, using of if else statements, then looping structure, for loop, while loop, do while loop, everything that we are using in C, C++ that are also being used in Java, and the rules, syntax, everything is almost same. Although Java programs are made inside the class, but in C and C++, otherwise the concept remains same. And one more thing, C++ using OOPS concept, and Java is also following in the same way. Although one more thing is there, that is Java has got much advanced features and much advanced and usable features that can be explored later on. But here right now at the beginning level, Java is matching with the features of C and C++. These are systematic, so Java is also a systematic programming language. So other features are Java is dynamic, Java is multi-threaded, interpreted and compiled, Java is platform independent, portable, robust, secure and crash free. It is used to develop desktop application development, web and mobile application development. It is also used in embedded systems. Java is powerful and versatile language, so used widely in software application. So when Java was developed in 1995, and who developed? It was developed by James Gosling. About the origin of Java development, it is said that Java was started as a green project in 1991. Almost 2 years it took to come out as a product which came up in 1995. Initial name was the green project started as a oak, and oak was also name of holy tree. Actually, because now this is the reason why the Java name was given to it in the later on. Although the project started as a oak name in the beginning, this green project name was oak, while it changed to Java. So how? Actually, while development of Java language, the development team was continuously on its job as this project was to be completed on time. So in this regular long working hours of this work process, they consumed a lot of coffee to get rid of tiredness, means they so that they'll keep them active. So they used to consume coffee. The coffee beans they consumed had come from a famous island, Java, that is in Indonesia. So the name was being heard here and there at coffee time. So they got impressed with this name Java, and decided to name this project, this green project, as Java project instead of oak. And later on this instead of oak, later on the name came up as Java, and which is today a well popular language, that is Java language. So the how Java initially was developed. This was little about it. Then after this, which company developed Java? Java was developed by Sun Microsystem. Sun Microsystem was the was the developer of Java language. Later on, this was owned by Oracle system. Even today, it is with the Oracle only. What makes Java so popular? Java is widely being used programming language at all levels. There are many invaluable features that makes Java most popular among all type of users, like learners, developers, assemblers, testers, etc. At the heart of developers, the portable class file creation, portable and small, both thing. Portable class file creation, which can be ported anywhere. OOPS concept, which is meeting to real life needs. Modular nature of Java programs means easily handleable. Reusability of modules again and again can be used. Packaging of multiple class file as a single runnable jar file. So that makes it easy to handle and deliver hassle-free and ease of deployment to JVM defined platforms are the core Java features that helps Java developers and other professionals all the way of development the development life cycle of their project. So this way Java with the all these features, Java became so much popular. Java is popular language not only for industrial application development, but also it can be used in devices embedded devices. Graphics and images also can be generated with this. Web application development, cloud application development. So it is a language for almost for everything. So seeing all these features, no doubt Java is much popular. It is popular for almost for everyone whosoever are in the development field or in the programming fields. So why to learn Java? What are the main features? Already we have discussed. Now we will be moving in little inner part of it. Let us understand what all are the features. Java is simple and Java is structural. You can say here Java is structural and structured. Here I'll say Java is structured. Java is structured. Java is structured and systematic programming language. The approach of Java programming is much similar to C, C++, as we have already discussed, syntactically and structurally in its beginning phase, which are again, again systematic programming language. We are talking about here C and C++, because those are also following a structural programming concept, and that's why Java is following it. So Java is also structured and systematic. The following are the points that reveals Java is a systematic. That are: number one, each Java program starts with main function. So main function must be there, otherwise your program will not run. Although we have got a static block, with the help of static block without using main function we can run a Java program. But whenever it comes to project and bigger programs, there you need to have main functions, otherwise your program will not be able to run, or it will not be able to uh, you know uh, place all those features which will be required by your project in the later on time. So here main function is must almost to get executed your program inside the public class. Then the syntax must be exactly as has been written in Java main function. I mean, how to start main function, the syntax should be like this only. Main class must be public. That you will have to keep in mind, that the class which is your main program, main class of the program, then that must be public, so that at the, I mean, as again written here, class name and program name must be same and public as well. Otherwise, your compiler will not be able to locate it out from which program you will be executing it. And main also be must be there, because it will be looking out your main file, and inside the main it will be looking out main file, it will be looking out for this main function with this syntax. Then only your program will get executed, so that you can understand how much systematic it is. To access class instance variable, object creation must follow class. So it means when you are creating any object, you must be having that class there, then only the object creation will be possible. If you are not using that class here and creating object, it means you will have to import it, and then you can do it. If you are not creating, then then you will have to import. That is another option. But otherwise, again here it is systematic, means class must be there, then only your object creation will take place for that class. Then, as we have already discussed, conditional construct, looping structure, methods and classes, etc. must follow the syntax structure as has been defined in compiler program. So it must follow all those rules and structure of declaring everything. So variables should be declared before their use. This is another important point here, that is variable cannot be used without declaring them. Without in Java, no variable can be undeclared. You will have to declare them, and then only you will be able to use them. So classes and functions being used either be defined or imported. So again here this point has come up. Classes, whichsoever class you are using, methods, whichever method you are using, those either must be defined or should be imported from other files. So if that is there, then your system will run your program, your compiler will run your program. Otherwise it will show you some error, undefined error or something. So here these are the things which are making Java structured and systematic. This is why Java is structured and systematic. These were the reason for this. Now next comes out here, OOPS. Java is OOPS based. Java is an object oriented programming language, as it follows all the important properties of OOPS. That is, it uses classes and objects. And what all objects are? Objects are real life entities. Those are real life entities, and the functions, the methods whichsoever you will be using in your class, those must match with the real life objects functionality required by the real life fulfillment of real life needs. Classes are using both these means entities and their functionality. Classes are using both of these and also following the rules of object oriented programming. And object oriented, what is object oriented programming properties? These are abstraction, encapsulation, inheritance and polymorphism. Means you will have to provide security, you will have to follow procedures, you can inherit the earlier made things, and as and when you want to launch them at the compile time and at the runtime, both possibilities are with the polymorphism. Polymorphism is for the purpose of overloading and overriding. This you will again learn in later on chapters. Overloading is also very important, because here your function is being, your method is being identified by signatures, and you will be using both the things. Early binding, late binding concept can be well understood here in polymorphism, because compile time, runtime, both features are used by this property of OOPS. Then Java is dynamic. Java is dynamic. This means Java can allocate, initialize object variables, classes at runtime or as and when these are required by. So number one, it can load classes at runtime as and when they are required by other Java programs. So your main class should be loaded whenever you are running your program, and once that has been loaded, that means The other classes from wherever those are being called, those will automatically get loaded. But the main class, main function must be loaded when you are running your program. So as we have already discussed up, those will be, that main function will be inside the main class. So automatically now whichever object you will be using there, that object will automatically call that method, and when that method is being called, it will be locating out for that class whichever you have mentioned at the import time in the at the top of your class. So it will automatically be you called from there, that method will automatically be called, and there will be no error and your program will run smoothly. Then one more thing coming up here, memory allocation to object based, memory allocation to objects, that is based on the size of the object. So here memory allocation to objects will be done depending upon the size of the object. So the size will be calculated based on total number of bytes taken by data members. Actually, see, if integer 2 byte, if double 8 byte, like that you will have to calculate, and on the basis of the size of object will be allocated for that class, and is done by new keyword. Here you will have to keep in mind, new keyword is also very important, because this is the keyword which will be using your heap memory to allocate your allocate space. So here new keyword which allocates memory from heap. So syntax, how you will do that, you will be using student ob equal to new student. So as new keyword allocates memory from heap, heap is a memory, unallocated memory space in memory area, in memory space, in whole memory space. This is an area which is unallocated, it is not the reserved one, keep in mind, but it is not much in size. You will have to keep in mind that it is not heap memory is not much in size. So Java memory management system has to take care of it. As the program gets over, Java memory management system automatically releases all the memory which has been allocated to various which has been allocated to various objects, various variables, classes, functions. All will be all the memory will be released by Java memory management system, as and when these things are not in use or are not being required by the program. So those that memory will be released, so that the insufficient memory space error will not occur. And to prevent this, Java garbage collection system takes this responsibility. So here new keyword is allocating memory from heap, size is not too much, so you will have to keep refreshing it, so that new program will run with optimum speed, because as you know, Java does not compromise with the performance. That is why Java uses JIT. One compiler is Java in time compiler also, that is also very important part of it. And here the memory management also makes it very much suitable for running your Java programs with same speed, because every time your new program with runs, it will get a free memory, and when free memory is available, no error will come, and program will run with highest efficiency, and I mean with the highest performance. The result will be provided to your target machine, or target client, whichsoever is expecting it to perform at highest speed. So then next comes out, Java is multi-threaded. Java is multi-threaded. Actually, thread is a program, and Java can run multi-threads simultaneously to achieve multitasking, reduced time of task completion, and utilization of shared resources at optimum level. Actually, multi-threaded means too many programs will run simultaneously. So when too many programs are running simultaneously, your task will get completed within a very less time, and your performance will be improved, and not only that, your resources will be utilized at the best level. So multi-threading is very very important for achieving your project completion time much before as has been set, and with best result and with best quality, the program will be delivered much before time, and not only that, resources will also be used at its best level. Then Java is machine or platform independent. Java programming language is machine independent as its source code gets converted to an intermediate code, and which is known as bytecode, which are instructions to your JVM to run bytecode of Java, and it is only concern to JVM, not the platform. JVM, not to the platform, not to the platform. That is why Java is machine independent. What I mean to say here, that whatever whatever compiled code, whatever your class file compiled code is running, that will be running in your JVM only. So it is not concerned with the outside environment. It is absolutely running on Java virtual machine. Java virtual machine is responsible for running it. So it's not concerned at all with the any operating system, like whether you are using Windows or you are using Linux or you are using any other operating systems. But one thing you will have to keep in mind, Java programs are machine independent, means make anywhere and you can run them anywhere. But Java virtual machine is your machine dependent. Java programs are machine independent. Java virtual machine is JVM is machine dependent. So whichever platforms JVM you are using, your Java program will be running on that. So if you want to run it on Windows, use JVM of that OS, and if you are running it on Linux or in any Mac, then use of that JVM. So Java programs are platform independent. That's why Java it is here. Then Java is robust. Already we have discussed about the automatic garbage collection system, because the robust means all the time whatever allocation is being done, everything will be freed up, and Java programs will be running with its highest speed, because all the allocated memory will be released. If anything has been allocated to earlier programs, that will be freed up as the programs will get over. And the architecture of Java is also making it quite robust, because whenever any object, whenever any variable is not required, that will automatically deallocated by this garbage collection system. So releasing of memory statically, dynamically, all are being handled by garbage collection system. So your Java program is all Java system is all the time ready to run your program with the robustness, with availability of memory, with I mean your program can run without any hitch, because as it will be a fresh environment for running your program. So robustly you can fly, your program can fly with agility, with any problem. So the robustness is totally dependent on on automatic garbage collection of Java. And no doubt, as little bit on the bytecode as well, because bytecode are also instructions. Those are compact, and those are based on Java architecture. Those are small in size. Those are running on JVM. So everything is based on JVM Java. And so here your the Java robustness can be seen that way as well. Then Java is versatile. Due to its versatile nature, it can be used for standalone window-based application development, device-based modules development, and as well as for web application development like kiosk electronic plants, robotics, and here robotics and then emulators. So Java can be used on any software, on any APIs, and with mobiles, with embedded system. You can use it anywhere due to its architecture, and due to its deployment features, due to its I mean, almost as we have discussed all those features that makes Java versatile. Java is portable, again the same thing, because Java source codes are converted into bytecodes before running to target platform, and bytecodes are platform independent because they run on JVM, which is a Java virtual machine. So due to becoming JVM based, it can be ported to any OSs, as JVM is responsible to run on that OS, then that operating system, or on that platform. So portable means those can be portable, because here one more thing is coming up. Java classes are very small in size, can be ported easily, so it does not take too much memory space, and that is also that is another point which makes Java portable, and beside bytecode. Then Java is secure and crash free, as we have already said that Java codes as bytecode runs on a secure environment, that is Java runtime environment, which uses JVM, which is Java virtual machine, works as a shield for Java bytecodes. So no interaction with outside environment. Java runtime environment supports Java security architecture that works with the verified bytecode, and at compile time and runtime, both Java exception handling prevents it from getting crashed. So these are the features for discussion today, to understand how Java is so much popular. And now we can move to question number 7. What is Java Development Kit? Java Development Kit is a collection of these tools. What is Java Development Kit? Java Development Kit is a collection of all these tools. Java Doc, Java Documentation, is a tool which is used to document all your comments in your project. Whatever important complex function you have made, those for the future reference, you can comment them in your programs. Automatically Java Doc will make a documentation for all those commented lines, and will place them in a file, and which can be seen by developers, or by analysts, for future use, for future improvement, that how they have made their functions, typical functions, and they can improve this way by using Java doc function. So this is very important for developers for the reference purpose, because commenting typical functions, typical methods, also helps to enhance your capability, handling complex situations, complex functionalities. That Java doc is very important, very useful. Java C is again, this is a compiler program which will be used to convert your source code into bytecode. Source code into bytecode means .java file will be converted to your class file, .class file. So that this is a Java C tool. Java P is a disassembler which can be used to disassemble your Java code back to your back to your source code. And but this all depends how and where your environment, what you are using that. So little bit here the complexity will remain in Java disassembler. And then next comes out another very important tool, Java. Java is a very important tool here. This tool is used to run your Java class file on the target machine. And Java is also using all the JVM architecture, JVM features for running your for at the runtime for running your Java program. Then another very important tool, that is jar files. Jar files are very important, which are used to bundle up your number of class files in a one file, and then this class file can be delivered, deployed wherever you want. and this will be quite easy to deploy, because a single jar file will be containing so many Java programs, so many class files, and deployment will become easier with this. And not only that, jar files are executable. This you will have to keep in mind. It will be executing your main file, and from there other class files can be called up as and when those are required. That main program will be taking responsibility of that. Now after this, we are coming down to what are the rules for Java programming. Java programming rules are very important, because as we have said, systematic, structured, so you need to follow it. Whatever rules are defined in Java, that we need to use, understand them one by one. So Java is case sensitive. Case sensitive, what does that mean? That means if you are defining anything in small letters, it will be different than the thing that has been defined in the capital letters. Like variable names, if you are giving variable name, say num is a variable name, like age is a variable name. If you are writing it in capital letters, that will be different, and if you are writing in small letters, that will be also different. So these, if try to put them everything in a small letters, then each statement in Java code is terminated by semicolon. So whatever statement you are using, if you are ending that statement, that line, then that must be terminated. Then after this, next is coming up group statements. Group statements are kept inside curly brackets. So if you want to run multiple statements simultaneously for a particular condition, put them inside the curly brackets. Then next comes out import statement. Import statement should be used to include Java library packages and classes as well. Should be after package statement if package statement has been written there. Java comments should start with if you are giving single line comments, it should start with this. If you are writing multiple line comments, then it should be written like this. So comments, as I said, will be used by your doc Java doc tool to document them, and so that in the later on time you can look out for reference purpose. Then after this, next comes out package. Package is first statement in Java program and is optional as well. If you want to give it, you can give it. If you are not giving, then import will become your first statement. Otherwise, import will be your second statement. So that you will have to keep in mind. Import will be after package only. Then there can be only one public class in the whole program, but private classes can be in any number. So keep in mind, only one public class should be there. If you will give too many public classes, again, then it will be looking out for those, and it will be the connectivity, the calling will become a problem. So public class should be only one. Program name and public class name must be same with the case sensitivity. This is another point, please. As I have said, class name and name should be class name, and the file name must be same, because with that file name it will be locating out your class, and then that public class can locate out for other classes. A variable declared as final cannot be changed. These are actually some rules. These you will see in your later on programs. And if you define any variable as a final, so you cannot reinitialize it, please keep in mind. To create documentation, you will be using Java doc. Java programs can be developed using Java IDEs like Java, NetBeans, Eclipse, IntelliJ, VS Code. There are so many. Even a simple Notepad editor can also be used for making your Java programs. Java programs should be compiled by using Java C. Java C, which tool it is? It is a tool which will be converting your Java source code to a class file. Then for naming of Java functions, we will be using here camel casting. Camel casting means it will start with the small letter, and then each word will be in capital letters. First one will be in small letter, and then later on every first character of each word will become capital. Class name should start with capital letters. like student S capital, employee E capital, my class M capital, like this. Access specifiers are access specifier or modifier. These are very important. Please, private, public, protected, and default. Java uses one more access specifier, that is default. So if you do not define private, public, or protected, Java will be using a default access specifier through which you will be able to access your classes, class methods, and your variables, your what we call instance variables. Then each Java program starts with main function and should be only one in Java program. Exception handling should be used to enhance program handling and control in a much better way. So we should use try catch block. Try catch block will strengthen our program, will be good for testing, will be more interactive to users, more interactive and understandable. Because if you are using try catch block, you can specify that roll number should be from 1 to 10 only, roll number should be from 100 to 200 only, like this, and product code should be of this these much digits only, like this. Try catch is very important. It must be used in almost in all Java programs. It will be much more easier for user to understand. Then use final static to declare named constants to represent constant data. So here, if you are giving any variable as constant and final, so you will not be able to make any changes, and that variable will be residing at one location, because that variable will not be relocated in the memory. Static variable remains at one location, but the existence remain throughout the program. So this you can use, like you must have seen CBSE maximum marks is 100. So like this, for these kind of things you can define that variable as a final static. The main method must be one, and how you are using it is not necessary here, but anyway, if you are defining at the last, it will be nice for that program. Java keyword should not be used as a variable name, function name, class name, means method name. So Java keywords are the, what are keywords? Keywords are reserved word. So when keywords, actually keywords already defined in your compiler, so cannot be used for cannot be used as an identifier. So you cannot name them. Keywords are actually reserved word. Reserved word means which compiler is already using for various purposes. So then next comes out, Java is statically and dynamically typed language. It is both. So it can be used both ways. Statically int num, and you can initialize it even. So it means this will be allocated even at the compile time. And dynamically, now this will not be allocated at compile time. Rather, when you will be running your program, dynamically the object will be allocated memory as per the student class structure. So according, it will be allocated memory. Now next comes out how Java programs are developed. To develop Java program, here let us understand the concept. See, Java source code will be in .java file, then it will be compiled and compiled by Java C tool of Java development kit, and once it has been compiled, it will be converted to a class file, which is also known as a bytecode file. These are the instructions to your JVM. Now when you are instructing to JVM, it depends upon JVM of which OS it is means JVM is of which operating system. Like if it is Windows based, then Java program will be running on Windows system. If it is Linux, it will be running there, and if it is Mac, it will be running there. So Java code will remain same, but JVM will be machine dependent, so that will be based on your operating system. So again, I'll repeat it. Java codes are machine independent and JVM is machine dependent. Now after this, next is coming here. What is JVM? JVM is also very important part of Java architecture, and almost this is the JVM stands for Java Virtual Machine, so you can understand how important it is. So what is JVM? JVM is a Java Virtual Machine which enables to run a Java program. JVM is required by Java program first at compile time to handle the bytecode instructions, and which is converted by Java compiler Java C, that are required at runtime to convert it executable file as required by target platform. So what I mean to say in simple, Java JVM is required at compile time first, from source code to class file conversion, and then later on from class file to your target platform running, again you will be using JVM. So JVM is used at runtime and as well as at compile time both. JVM performs vital role to set Java environment for Java program running. It is machine dependent while Java codes are machine independent. Each operating system has its JVM. Again, keep in mind please, this I have repeated so many times. Each operating system has its JVM. JVM makes Java program secure and crash free. It encapsulates Java program in a JVM launcher as a rocket launcher provides environment for an astronaut. Similarly, Java programs can be understood as an astronaut inside a JVM, and for runtime, it is again providing so many files there, so many packages, so many interfaces, APIs, everything. So that is making Java programs run smoothly. Then next coming out here, this JVM the JVM loads, how it does actually, the JVM loads class files in the JVM memory with the help of Java class loader that are further for execution. That means class files are set for further execution. What is a class loader? A class loader is a very essential, is an essential component, is an essential component of Java runtime environment that loads classes dynamically in the JVM's memory as and when are required for execution. There are three type of class loaders: bootstrap, extension, system or application class loader. Bootstrap class loader sets an environment for your class file, and extension is used for those like if you are using SQL or something, it will be setting all those extension related files using setting to run all those action related files. And then system or application class loader, this is for your own program, your own project, which will be loaded in this area. Then class loader performs what all operation? It will be loading, storing and managing classes. Then it does linking after that, and does linking and initialization of these classes to run them in the target machine. So this was about class loader, which your JVM uses. Now what is JRE? JRE, this is question number 12 please. What is JRE? JRE, Java Runtime Environment, is used for running Java compiled files. Those are compiled files are bytecode files. It contains all libraries and tools that are required to run class files. It is having its own JVM. As I said, at compile time there is a JVM. At runtime, because runtime is again having a JVM, and it is also having your jar files, RT jar file, runtime jar files. JRE sets runtime environment. JVM, and here JRE sets runtime environment for Java compiled codes with the help of rt.jar files. This runtime jar file is having so many packages, so many class files here, and with the help of that we will be running our Java programs. So rt.jar file, which is under where? It is under lib directory of runtime. It is under the lib directory. This you will have to see if you want to get through of it. It has many core classes, interfaces, APIs that enables JRE to perform all runtime tasks for running, which are required for running a Java program. Then If you want to run it from the command line, your project, then you can use this syntax. Java is a exe file. Again, Java is a tool, and it is as a in the Java development kit, it is a tool, and which can be used like .jar, myfile.jar. So it will be running all the classes, although main class will be get executed, but whichever other classes are there, those will be called. Jar file is a collection of class files. Although in IDEs like Eclipse, you have to just go to run Java application for running a code file. Now, one more thing, we will come down here. I said Java does not compromise with the performance and speed. JIT is responsible for this, please. Java uses interpreter and compiler both. Interpreter is used for line by line execution wherever the codes are quite simple and straight, and wherever your codes are repetitive and complex, JIT will automatically called by your runtime environment, and it will perform with a very high speed, as it is a compiler, so it will execute your codes with a very high speed. And with this, your Java will not compromise with the performance, and process will JVM. Actually, here what happens, this is so that whenever the program code has repetitive processes like looping, JVM hands over the control to JIT. So JIT come in use wherever the complex processes are there, wherever the repetitive processes are there. So JIT is program, or Java in time is a compiler which makes your Java program to run with a very high speed, as it is managing all those repetitive tasks, all those complex tasks. So thank you very much for seeing this, please.